When your cat suddenly refuses to leave your side or starts acting strangely around you, do you actually know what that means? Yes, it feels comforting. It looks like simple clinginess, maybe even a little unusual. But behind that closeness there is something deeper that most people miss. It is one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do. And if you ignore it, which most owners do, you might miss the moment your cat is trying to warn you about something you cannot see. Let's start with what that behavior really means. It's not random, it's awareness. Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly becoming intensely focused on you, following you from room to room, watching you differently? Most people think it is just attention-seeking or mood. But here is what is actually happening. Cats are incredibly observant creatures. They constantly scan their environment for subtle changes, especially in the beings they are bonded to. That shift in behavior is not random. It is awareness. Your cat is noticing something about you that has changed even if you have not realized it yet. Think about that for a second. You might feel normal. But your cat is picking up on something beneath the surface. And by the way, if your cat ever starts acting unusually persistent around you or refuses to leave your side, do not brush it off. We will get to what that really means at the end, and it is something most owners wish they had understood sooner. Because this is not just about attention. It is about perception. And it only gets deeper from here. They sense what you cannot. Have you ever wondered how your cat seems to know something is wrong before you do? Most people assume it is coincidence. But here is what is actually happening. A 2020 study from the University of Lincoln found that cats are highly sensitive to subtle human behavioral and physiological changes, including posture, breathing, and movement patterns. Animal cognition research also shows that cats respond to changes in human emotional and physical states even when those changes are not obvious. That means your cat is reading signals you are not even aware of. Think about that for a second. Your body is communicating something. And your cat is listening. What makes this even more meaningful is that this sensitivity is not passive. It is active awareness. The black cat in this story did not just stay close. It noticed something was off. And instead of ignoring it, it stayed. And here is where it gets even more powerful. If your cat ever becomes unusually alert around you, watching you more closely than usual, that is not curiosity. That is attention with purpose. They mark what matters most. Have you ever noticed your cat rubbing against you more often or pressing their body into you during those moments? Most people think it is just affection. But here is what is actually happening. Cats have scent glands in their face and body that release pheromones when they rub against you, creating a shared scent environment. Researchers who study feline behavior call this social bonding through scent marking. When your cat marks you, they are not just showing affection. They are claiming you as part of their safe world. Think about that for a second. When something feels off, they move closer. They reinforce that connection. They are saying, you belong here with me. What makes this even more meaningful is that scent is identity for a cat. So in those moments when your cat will not leave you alone, they are not just staying close. They are grounding you into their world. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. This comes from something ancient. Have you ever wondered why cats respond like this instead of walking away when something feels wrong? Most people think animals avoid discomfort. But here is what is actually happening. In the wild, cats rely on close proximity and bonding, especially between mothers and kittens, to regulate safety and survival. Behavioral scientists have observed that these instincts are deeply embedded, not learned. Think about that for a second. When something feels wrong, staying close is survival. The black cat was not trying to solve a problem. It was doing something older than logic. It was staying. Providing presence. Creating safety. And here is where it gets even more powerful. Domestic cats have adapted this instinct to humans. So when your cat refuses to leave your side during a moment you do not understand, they are treating you like someone worth protecting. Not avoiding you. Not ignoring you. Protecting you. They do not do this for everyone. Have you ever noticed your cat behaves differently around you compared to others? Most people assume cats are just selective or moody. But here is what is actually happening. Studies on domestic cats reveal that they form strong selective bonds based on trust, consistency, and emotional safety. They do not spread this behavior equally. Think about that for a second. That level of attention, that kind of closeness, is earned. The black cat could have ignored everyone else. It could have distanced itself. But it did not. It chose one person. And stayed with them. Not everyone gets that. Not everyone is seen that way. And what makes this even more meaningful is that this kind of attention is not casual. It is intentional. This is what most owners never realize. Have you ever wondered why that kind of presence feels so intense? This is what most owners never realize. Here is what is actually happening when your cat chooses to stay with you during something abnormal. They are lowering their guard. They are not exploring. Not hunting. Not scanning for danger. They are focusing on you. Think about that for a second. That is vulnerability. And remember earlier when I said if your cat becomes unusually persistent or refuses to leave your side, do not ignore it. This is what I was talking about. Because that behavior is not passive. It is intentional. In the case of the nurse, the black cat did not just stay close. It interrupted. It insisted. It pushed for attention. Until something was noticed. That is not just companionship. That is intervention. That is a cat choosing connection over instinct. And that changes everything. When that behavior disappears. Have you ever noticed when your cat suddenly stops paying that kind of attention? Most people assume everything is fine. But here is what is actually happening. Studies on domestic cats reveal that sudden changes in proximity and attention often signal stress, discomfort, or emotional withdrawal. Cats do not always escalate. Sometimes they step back. Think about that for a second. If your cat stops checking on you, stops staying close, stops responding, that silence means something. This is where most owners get it wrong. They wait for something obvious. But with cats, the absence of behavior is everything. Do not ignore it. So when your cat suddenly refuses to leave your side or starts acting differently around you, do you actually know what that means? It might feel like clinginess. It might look like nothing important. But behind that behavior there is something deeper. It is awareness. It is connection. It is your cat noticing something before you do. That is not coincidence. That is trust. And that moment when your cat stays when something feels off. It was never small to them. And it should not be small to you either.